In this lesson, we will be looking at combinations. So we already know what a permutation is. A permutation is the number of ways that you can combine a set of data in which order matters. So one example that we looked at in the textbook before is horse racing. If you're trying to see the number of different combinations for the top three qualifiers in a horse race, the order of that really does matter. Because let's say you have horse A winning first place, horse B winning second place, and horse C winning third place. But another combination you could do using these same three horses is horse C winning first place, horse A winning second place, and horse B winning third place. So those would be two different permutations because the order of them is different, even though it's the same three horses. So the only difference in a combination is that the order doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter if horse A wins first place or horse C wins first place, or even if we had horse B winning first place. In combinations, all three of these would be the same combination, even though they're different permutations. So the formula for a combination is a little bit different than a permutation because we have to take out all of the repeats from the permutation formula. So the combination of n, k. N is your whole set of data, or let's see. Yeah, n is the number of distinct objects and chosen k at a time. It's going to be n factorial over k factorial times n minus k factorial. And this just takes out all of the repeats, like right here we have. There's more repeats than just this, but all the repeats from the permutation formula will be taken out with this formula. So there's an example in the book that really makes a lot of sense to me. It's on page 500 of the textbook, example 6a. A basketball team consists of 11 players. How many different ways can the coach pick his starting 5 players? So this one, the order that he picks them really doesn't matter because we're starting out with just 5 players. So it doesn't matter if you have player 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 starting, or if you have players 3, 2, 5, 4, 1 starting. Because either way, it doesn't matter what order, it's the same 5 players that are going to be starting in the game. So all we would do is plug these numbers into our formula. So I'm going to make sure I know what my variables stand for. So my n variable is my total number, which is 11. And my k is going to be 5, because that's the number of players that I'm selecting from 11. So we just plug that in. C of 11, 5 equals n factorial, 11 factorial, over k factorial, which is 5, times n minus k, which is 6, 11 minus 5 factorial. So I'm going to do this a couple of steps at a time. First, I'm going to figure out what 5 factorial times 6 factorial is. So let's look at what this is. So on my calculator, my factorial button isn't one of my main buttons. It's actually, I have to hit the second button. It's right above the 3. Right here it says x factorial. So in order to find 5 factorial, I just type in 5, hit the second button, press 3, and it gives me a number, 120. So 5 factorial is 120. 6 factorial, do the same thing, 6, second, 3 is 720. So 6 factorial times 120, which we remembered was 5 factorial, equals 86,400. So I'm going to write that down so I don't forget it. 86,400. Now, 11 factorial, that's going to be a lot bigger of a number. 11 factorial 39,916,800 divided by 86,400. And our answer is 462. So that is the number of combinations of starting players that the coach could pick to start the game. Now, I just did that all by hand, and it didn't take a super long amount of time, but sometimes these things can get a little bit complicated. And I'm going to show you a little trick that I have on my calculator. Now, I just have a TI-30XA, so it's not a super fancy calculator. I think I got it for like 12 bucks. So I don't know about other calculators where these buttons would be, but I know where it is on my calculator. So on my calculator, right above the 8 button here, there's a little thing. It says NCR. Now what that stands for is combination of NR, is really what it is. And in this case, N is the same as our N right here, and R is the same as our K right here. So if I really didn't feel like doing this by hand, and I didn't have a lot of time, I could just do this in my calculator. And all I would do is I type in my N, which is 11, and I hit my second button, and then I hit 8 because my NCR is right above 8. And then I type in my R value, or my K value, which is 5. It equals 462.